Hollow Knight Silksong is the highly anticipated sequel to the original hit game Hollow Knight. It has really just struck the gaming community in a really fun way, and it's just a great game. However, it is a Metroidvania Souls-like game, and Souls-like games are known for being notoriously difficult, especially when it comes to the bosses. I'm Luke, and this is the Shadowcast podcast, and today we're going to be ranking every single Hollow Knight Silksong boss and boss refight from easiest to hardest via tier lists. Along the way, I will also be giving a few tips for each boss in case you're struggling, so stick through to the end. You may learn a few things. Okay, first up we're going to be starting with the Moss Mother. Now, the Moss Mother is really just a tutorial boss. You really shouldn't struggle too much with this guy, even if you haven't played the first game in the series. It's a simple, fun, learn the basics boss, and really doesn't present much of a challenge, even for noobs. I have to put it in D tier, honestly. As far as any tips go, it's pretty simple. Just avoid its attacks. There's not much I can really say. And now we start to get a little more interesting. We have the double Moss Mother. These guys are definitely tough, but I feel like they're a lot tougher than the first one, and I actually struggled on these guys for a bit. However, I feel like with the proper setup, they're pretty simple, and you can kind of fight them wherever you want, whenever you want. You don't even have to fight them. So they're kind of like, they don't present like as much of a roadblock as some of the later fights do. Guys, they're optional, so you can fight them whenever you want. So I feel like I'd put them in a C tier, just because they are tougher than the normal Moss Mother, because there's two of them. So you have to keep track of both. However, with Silksong, you get very good at keeping track of multiple enemies at the same time. Lace Fight 1, to be specific. Again, not really too tough. It can be an early game roadblock if you haven't played the first game. Wasn't too tough for me because I've played the first game a lot. I did die quite a bit though. So I feel like this fight is kind of like still more of a learning fight. Like you're trying to learn how to deal with small, fast-moving enemies that zip around the arena and make you feel pain. It's tough. Where do I rank this? I'd have to say C tier. It's right there with the double Moss Mother. Very difficult, but not like completely too hard. Alright, next up is Lace 2. This fight is a lot harder than the first one. And you fight her right before the final boss, so you have all your upgrades and stuff, and she's still insanely difficult. Honestly, I have to put her in A tier. As far as tips go for this fight, I would say if you can actually jump off the sides of the arena, and there are walls on each side. So if you jump off the side, wall jump up the wall, then jump and double jump up, then you can usually get a pretty safe heal off while you're up there. She won't be able to damage you and cancel the heal. And now we have everybody's favorite, the Bell Beast. Bell Beast is definitely tough. It's definitely an early game. Hang on, I'm getting called by a scam caller. Sorry, okay, we're good. Yes, as I was saying, he's definitely an early game skill check. Like, this is the first fight where the double damage really comes into play, and there is a lot going on, so a lot to keep track of. Especially, I struggled on this fight, and I had played the first game, so honestly, I'm gonna put him in B tier. He's like probably one of the toughest early game fights you're gonna get. Fourth chorus. First off, can I just say how much fun this guy is? His art is amazing. His environment with the lava is phenomenal. The music's great. It's just like, this guy's one of my favorite bosses in the whole game. I love him. And you can fly up in the air and drop a giant magma rock on his head. I mean, like, how cool? How cool is that? It's like an ancient construct. As far as difficulty, I would say He wasn't that bad for me. I could see how some people might struggle with him, but honestly, he just wasn't that bad. I'm gonna put him in C tier. Tip for this guy, I would say, yeah, you can actually eventually at some point during the fight, you can actually updrafts will emerge, and you can actually ride up the updraft and hit a lava rock up top that'll drop on him and end the fight earlier. So I didn't know that the first time, so I fought him all the way through without realizing that. Okay. Oh boy, here we go. Savage Beastfly. This guy's hard. Like, this guy is very hard. Again, he is similar to the double Moss Mother, where you don't have to. You can fight him kind of whenever you want. He's not a roadblock. So I came and fought him later, so I was able to beat him first try. But all I was hearing was how difficult Savage Beastfly was, because people went to Hunter's March, which is the area he's in, earlier. I think I have to say A tier for this one. Just because he's an insanely hard fight. He summons a ton of minions. He's flying all over the place, doing double damage. And, like, yeah, the only reason he's not S tier is because, like, you can fight him whenever you want. Like, he doesn't present a roadblock. He's just an optional fight. And you can come back when you're overpowered and kill him easily. As far as tips go for this guy, I don't have much. Just target down his minions. Try to bait him into killing his own minions. Because if I believe he can spawn an infinite amount of minions, and if those start to fill up the screen, you are cooked. Alright, Savage Beastfly 2. I actually struggled with this fight quite a bit. It's definitely very tough. The lava and him getting rid of the floor and leaving just giant holes of lava is not helpful. And the minions he summons during this fight are also very annoying to deal with. Besides that, it's just kind of more of the same, honestly. So, probably put it in B tier, because this is like I believe an Act 2 boss. So you can kind of come with your Act 2 loadout and rip him to shreds. So yeah, pretty simple. Skull Tyrant. I would say with the Skull Tyrant, he's not that bad. He's kind of like he's kind of like the early game optional boss, like the big hunt in like a Final Fantasy game or something. So he's optional. He doesn't present a roadblock at all. You can come back and kill him when you're like fully loaded. He's easy. I would say C tier, honestly. He really doesn't present that much of a challenge. Same with the Refight. The Refight's like the same, literally the same fight, except just in Bone Bottom. All right, this is where it gets interesting. The Moorwing. This guy's tough. This guy is like, Team Cherry's like, okay, enough prologue, enough intro, enough tutorial for you. Now we are just gonna not hold back and throw everything we have at you. No mercy whatsoever. And it shows, especially with the original version. He's a lot harder. I haven't played him since the nerf, so I'm not sure what he's like now. In the original version, he would have been probably A tier. Like he was like a pain. You can skip him though. That's the tip for him, is you can skip him if you get 5 fleas and then talk to the Flea Master Mushka, I believe his name is, in the caravan to finish the side quest. You'll get taken to Greymoor and won't have to fight him at all. As far as which tier to put him in, though, it's tough because I don't know what he's like without the nerf. I'm gonna stick to what I know him as. I'm gonna put him in A tier, just because he's really tough. He was really hard for me. It took me he was the first boss that I was really like just hammering out attempts and like not doing anything. Another tip though is you can recruit Garmund and Zaza. Here they are. You can recruit them to help you in the fight. You have to talk to them a few times, I believe, throughout Greymoor, and they will come and help you. They don't do much, but it's good. Emotional support. Yeah, I'm gonna put him in A tier. Sister Splinter. Again, a nerfed boss. It was really difficult. pre-patch, but I feel like now, I know they nerfed the damage of her minions, and those guys were a absolute pain to deal with. I mean, she herself isn't too bad. You just have to get into a good rhythm with dodging her giant claw strikes. Yeah, I'm gonna go B tier, just because not too bad, but also pretty difficult at the same time. Here we go, everybody's friend Widow. Widow's interesting. Widow's kind of fun, honestly. Like, it starts off, you're like, okay, this is just a normal fight. Then she goes to phase 2, and it's like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Like, phase 1's pretty simple. Phase 2's like, oh. But even phase 2, it's hard. It appears really difficult at first, but if you just take it slow, just like, don't try to rush her dead. Just take it slow, wait for an opportunity, heal when you can. Just avoid her attacks, pay attention, then the fight really isn't that bad. I'm gonna put it in B tier, just because it's hard, but it's also, if you know what you're doing and you're good at it, then it's not bad at all. Alrighty, Phantom. Phantom wasn't actually that bad for me. He's really just like, kind of like Hornet in the first game, like fighting Hornet herself in the first game. I'm gonna go B tier. It's a low B tier though, because I beat him like, I believe, second try. Granted, I did do him after I had beat the last judge, so I was in Act 3. But he honestly, he's small, so you can just read his attacks pretty easily and avoid them. He is hard to hit though. That's the pain. Alrighty, we have made it to the last judge. Final boss of Act 1, or one of them, I guess. This guy kind of counts-ish. True final boss of Act 1. And she is very difficult to bring down. The main thing that's difficult about this boss, for most people, was the run back. The boss itself is not... Once you learn her attacks, she's not that terrible to deal with. The run back, though, every time you die, it just kind of catches you off guard. Like, you're just like, whoa, giant centaur thing in the middle of the place, and whoa, I'm dead already. It's like fireballs exploding everywhere. It's tough. It's hard. But I feel like if you have a good run back strategy to get through the run back pretty quick, and you just pay attention to her attacks, and clutch out, then it's not too bad. But I feel like it is hard enough to make it into a low A tier, just because it just kind of comes at such a this is by far probably the hardest boss yet. Like, I mean, who else do you have? You have Lace, Moss Mother, Fourth Chorus, Widow's tough, Moonwing is tough, but pre-patch not really, or post-patch I mean not really. All right. Next up is, tip for him, I forgot. Get the polyp pouch. You should definitely have the polyp pouch at this point. It's a tool. It adds poison effect to all your tools. So it helps you to just do a lot more damage. I used polyp pouch and long nail and just kind of kept hammering her from a distance. So yeah, works pretty well that way. All right, Cogwork Dancers. These guys are fun. They're just fun to fight. It's also very sad at the end, so we will have a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay. Anyways, these guys are tough, very tough. They're quick. They also kind of like feel like they should be a lot easier than they actually are. Like, don't be deceived. These guys actually are tough. Yeah, I'd probably say B tier. Solid, right there in the middle. There is a kind of cheese strategy you can use for these guys. If you stand in the bottom right corner of the arena and just kind of jump whenever they head your way, like whenever you see them coming, just jump. They won't be able to hit you as long as you jump above their little blade sweeps and stuff. They won't be able to hit you, and you can literally just stand there in the corner and just spam your nail thing. What is it? Needle, yeah. Especially if you have the Wanderer's Crest, you can get pretty high DPS with that. So yeah, and be relatively safe from their attacks as well. Alrighty, boys, the man of the hour, Trobio. This guy is also pretty fun to fight. He reminds me a lot of Troop Master Grimm from the first game in a lot of ways. I would say this guy, he took a long time to beat. He was tough. I'd probably have to go high B. I'm gonna go high B tier for Trobio. Very difficult fight, but also doesn't stand out as much as I'd say these fight. Not quite as difficult as some of these fights were. There's not much strategy. You kind of just have to get good at learning his attacks. Yeah. All right, Tormented Trobio though. This fight was interesting. I went into it like expecting it to take forever because the first Trobio fight was very difficult for me. So I was like, oh boy, here's a lot. Buckle up, guys. We're going for the long haul. But it was actually surprisingly easy. I beat it like within like a few tries. So it's just like that late game experience. Plus, you already beat the first Trobio. I feel like it makes him a lot easier than he was. Now, this might just be my personal take on the fight. Others might struggle with it a lot more than I do. So, but I honestly have to put him in C tier. He really didn't present as big of a challenge as I thought he was going to be. Yeah. Next up is this guy. Barely even know his name. Does he even qualify as a boss? I don't even. D tier. He's pretty, just like a basic enemy essentially, except he only appears once in one place. It's pretty simple to. He's pretty simple to defeat. You just kind of have to stand under the platform. That platform right there. There's a platform. Stand under the platform while he's shooting his acid spit. Then as soon as he's done, just jump out on top of the platform, jump and hit him a few times, and then retreat. It just takes a while, but it's pretty simple to do. You shouldn't die too many times. Alright, Four Brothers, Cygnus, and Grom. Grom? Is that his name? I might be wrong. These guys are tough, but they're not too tough. I'm gonna go C tier with these guys. Because as long as you just focus one of them down and get him out early, the other one's easy. So like, tacks really help with that. If you have poison tacks, then you can just put them on the ground. And I believe the short, fat one, I don't know which one that is. He dies pretty quick, especially since you start fighting him before his brother even shows up. So yeah. Great conch flies. I'd go C tier. These guys, ooh, interesting. There's no background. Weird. These guys are tough, but not too tough. They're just like kind of just there. It's like okay, it's a fight. Yeah, nothing much to say, honestly. They're just there. All right, Raging Conchfly on the other hand, oof, this guy was a pain. His fight is tough enough that you'll probably die a few times, but the big challenge here is the run back. Like if you die on this guy, you have a big run back through like the entire sands of Karak to get back to him. It's a pain to deal with. Yeah, it's insane. I gotta go B tier, just because his fight himself isn't too bad, but the run back is a pain. So do not die on this guy, or you are in trouble. Father of the Flame, D tier. He's nothing too bad. I mean, it's kind of an interesting fight. It's fun to do. It's like Oogie Boogie. It reminds me of the Oogie Boogie fight from Kingdom Hearts 1, the second one, where he like mutates into this giant thing and you have to go around destroying all the little bits. He does shoot those fireballs at you, but if you have the fire bell, I forget what the tool is. There's like a fire warding tool that you can equip, and it basically just takes out the double damage they do in just one damage. So you can literally just tank this guy down pretty easily. Alright. Disgraced Chef Lugoli, not too bad. He is definitely a tougher one. He caught me off guard by how tough he actually was. As long as you don't get hit by the maggots, he's not too bad. But the maggots present a pretty significant problem, because it takes away your ability to heal. I tried to rush him and just spam him down. Do not do that. Take your time, wait for opportunities, because he can do enough damage to you that to knock you out before you actually kill him. So yeah, I would advise against that. All right, the Unraveled. The Unraveled was fun. Nothing too bad. Nothing much to note. Attacks are huge in this fight because it's such a big hitbox and it just kind of stands there. So if you can get some attacks on either side of the arena, it can do a ton of damage. I'm gonna go C tier again. All right, probably a high C tier for the both of these. This last two. Second Sentinel. Second Sentinel was fun. Nothing much to note. It felt like a duel, you know? You versus him. It's kind of fun. Nothing much to say. C tier. Garmund and Zaza. Again, same as Second Sentinel, nothing much to say. Just a duel. Jump over them, hit them. Chakra's tougher. Chakra is like the GOAT in this game, so fighting her is not easy, but it's also manageable. Again, not much to say. Here we go. Here, now it gets interesting. The Last Sinner. Last Sinner, it's like a mix of Widow and Grandmother Silk, but on steroids. So, I personally didn't struggle with it too much. I can definitely see why other people would, though. So, I would say like a high B tier, low A tier maybe. I'm going to put it in A tier just because we don't have a ton of A tiers, but yeah, it was tough. I could definitely see other people struggling on it a lot. But as long as you hit her before she actually starts to heal and pay attention to those strings coming at you, it's not too bad. Because you have experience fighting Widow by this point, so it's pretty simple. Okay. Ooh, Summoned Savior. This guy's interesting because I haven't played Steel Soul, but from what I've seen of this guy, he is not too difficult. However, this is the thing that makes him difficult. He's only in Steel Soul. Like, you can't practice him in the normal mode before you fight him. So the first time you're coming across this guy is in a run where you likely have made a ton of progress beating all sorts of other stuff, because I believe he's like late Act 3 maybe. So you have to fight him in Act 3 after you've done a ton of other stuff and you're meeting a boss for the first time and you're paranoid that you're going to die at any moment because you've done so much and your nerves are high. I could see him being pretty difficult. But again, I haven't fought him. His attacks look pretty simple to deal with. And as long as you like have the Fractured Mask on and just save and quit back to the bench whenever it breaks so you don't die, I feel like he's not too bad. I'm going to put him in probably C tier. Because the nerves of Steel Soul might get to you, but besides that, he's not too bad. Alright, Grohl the Great. Excuse me, sorry. This guy was a pain. This guy was a pain to deal with. I was like in the car on a road trip while trying to beat him, and then I was getting car sick and was like, just die. I feel like the boss himself isn't too bad, but his arena is really kind of not ideal fighting arena because you only have like the two platforms at the sides and then a few underneath. So his arena makes it pretty difficult, but I would say the main thing is the risk of dunking into the maggots on the way up to him, and then the mini gauntlet right before him. Those two kind of combined kind of wear you out before you even get to the fight, so you don't have much left to fight him with. I'm gonna go B tier. So yeah, he is pretty difficult. Alright, Bell Eater. This one is a really fun fight. I love the ending. It's like, the best. Bell Eater, I don't know how I did it, but I beat him first try. I was shocked. I feel like the only way you really have, especially towards the later in the fight, the only way you really have of damaging him is the cog flies. Because you're not about to jump up to his butt or face when he's spewing fire acid at you, so I don't really know how you would hit him without cog flies or some sort of tool. So I'm gonna go to B tier. I think I just got like insanely lucky and clutched it out on the first try. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. Really fun fight though. Love the end. Plasmified Zango. I liked this fight. It was just kind of there. It's just like an enemy, but it was fun. It presented a little more challenge than I thought it was going to. I gotta go D tier though. This is basically just a super basic enemy, like a super version of a basic enemy, not a super basic enemy. All right, Voltverm. Voltverm, I would say Voltverm is the easiest boss in the game. I mean, I went into it expecting like this tough kind of longer drawn out fight where it keeps spawning in different locations and you have to keep avoiding the electricity, kind of like Umu. But it really was just like kind of just popped up in the corner and I was like bam 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 bam, it was dead and I was like whoa. So he's really easy. His attacks are clearly telegraphed, easy to dodge. He does double damage, but it's not too bad to deal with. Yeah, you can hit him down really quick. I recommend Wanderer's Crest for this guy. Wanderer's Crest is kind of my go-to throughout the game, so I love it. Alright. Watcher at the Edge. This was a fun fight. I liked this fight. My strategy for this was to kind of just stay above him, like keep kind of pogoing him and double jumping up in the air. Because most of his attacks, he has like a few jump up attacks that he can get you with, but most of them not easily. You can kind of keep getting heals off and damaging him. It's kind of like a fun. It feels like you're fighting. It feels like a duel with a swordsman on the edge of the kingdom, which is what the vibe they were going for with that. I think they pulled it off really well. As far as difficulty, he wasn't too tough for me, but I could see him being tougher for other people. I'm gonna go low B tier, probably. Feels reasonable. Still don't have an S tier, but I could see them. They're coming. Alright, Pinstress. Pinstress was basically the same as the Watcher at the Edge. It felt like a battle with another person at the edge of the kingdom, basically, and Pinstress just basically kind of flies around a bit more and actually shoots you with stuff, so I'd say Pinstress might have been a tiny bit harder for me. Not much. Because I still beat it first try, I believe, but yeah. It was a fun fight. It's a fun fight. I would say, again, low B tier. Broodmother C tier. Yeah, not much to note. Just kind of there, slams around a bit, shoots babies at you. As long as he just finish off the babies quick, it's not too bad. Ooh, this guy. This guy was fun. Gur the Outcast. He like kind of uses your traps against you, like your tools and stuff. So it kind of makes you feel like what would Hornet feel like in this, like how do Hornet's enemies feel? So yeah, I kind of liked this fight. I'm gonna go B tier. It was definitely tricky. It caught me off guard. I was like, whoa, all these things are happening. What am I gonna do? All right, next up is Lost Garment. Again, Lost Garment was very similar to I feel like Tormented Trobio, where I came into it expecting it to be really difficult because I had fought him a few times, not trying super hard, and he wrecked me. So then I went away, farmed some stuff, and I came back and I was like, oh boy, this is gonna take a long time. So I went down and one-shot him, and I was like, whoa. The trick with him is to just stay next to him. If you stay right up close to him, I know this may sound kind of counterproductive, but if you stay right up close to him, his attacks are pretty easy to read, and you can just keep kind of spamming him. Just jump over behind him whenever he shoots those things at you. So I gotta go B tier with him, just because he did give me a lot of trouble for those first few attempts. All right, Crawfather. Not much. He's not too bad. His Gauntlet Craws are always annoying to deal with. I would say, I'm gonna say low C tier, just because he himself isn't too bad. He just kind of slams around a bit and then shoots these things at you. It's not too bad to deal with at all. Pale Stack was surprisingly difficult. It wasn't I was expecting it to be a lot easier than it was based on what I'd seen of it. I'm gonna go C tier. Because I was expecting it to be not that bad at all, but it actually, some of the situations it kind of put me into were pretty difficult to get out of with those flying blades everywhere. Tip with this guy, you can actually, I think in the pond, if you go down into the pond over to the bottom right, you can usually get a heal off there. It's not, I think sometimes the blades can still hit you, but as long as you time it right, you should be fine down there. The Clover Dancers. This was another really fun fight. The Cogwork Dancers are so good. I would say they were easier for me than the Cogwork Dancers just because I had that strategy. You can use the same strategy where you just sit in the bottom right corner and jump every time they come near you and then just spam them down. The tornado attack was really fun, and that was a pain to deal with. I'm going to go low B tier for these guys. Yeah, low B tier sounds right. Ooh, we're getting down to it. Final 6. Crust King Khan. This one's interesting because his gauntlet, like the Coral Tower, was the hardest place ever. I hate it. I hate the Coral Tower. It took me so long to get through it. Yeah, not much to note with this guy. The best strategy for all these kind of memory bosses is tool spamming, except for Scarsinger Carmelita, which we'll get to in a minute. Tool spamming really helps, especially with this guy, because within these dream memories, every time you die, you just wake up basically from the dream. Like it's not actually real. It's just a memory. So you don't lose your tools when you die. So you don't have to respawn them with shell shards. So tool spam like with the Architect Crest, works really well against this guy. So, especially with his whole gauntlet, I had Architect Crest when I got to him, so then I just used all the tools I had, and he just went down pretty quickly. His attacks aren't too bad to dodge. They speed up towards the end, but again, not very bad. Big thing you want to look out for is just not running into him while you're dodging his attacks. I'm gonna go B tier. Yeah, B tier. Alright. Seth. Seth was fun. Seth is, again, kind of has that Watcher at the Edge feel where it's just you against this guy. Like, it has a duel feel to it. He was really fun. He was tough, but he was fun. I'm gonna go probably low A tier with him, just because he was, yeah. He's like throwing his shield around, jumping all over the place. You have to like just try to get away to heal. It's just a really fun fight. Team Cherry did a really good job at this one. Nihileth would be a B tier. Sorry. It was a really fun fight. Really neat idea where you have to kind of stay in the air while fighting her. Really fun, really cool attacks to dodge. But in the end, it's not too difficult as long as you're good at air combat. Yeah. Really fun, though. Alright, here we go. Scarsinger Carmelita. First S tier. This boss is hard. Like, She has 3 entire phases. She's dancing around. She's smashing you to bits with her little blade thingies. She has a giant hitbox. She will like easily just snipe you out of the air while you're trying to get a heal off. Man, so much about this boss just makes it really difficult. Her gauntlet beforehand does not help because you usually against those 2 big guys you take it like at least a hit. So you have to try to get into her. So getting into her with full health is pretty tough to do. But just like the whole feel of the fight, the fight feels fun. Like the soundtrack for this fight is amazing. It's so fun. You have her singing, and she's the one singing the whole song. So it's like, whoa. It's just a really fun fight, but it's really hard at the same time. Especially towards her later phases. She goes to town on you. It's a pain. Alright. Here we go. The final boss of Act 2, Grandmother Silk. Grandmother Silk is interesting because normally I think I heard that because normally she's not that bad, right? She's just kind of like a toned down version of the Radiance from the first game, and just like as long as you just dodge her attacks, they're pretty easy to read, and it's not too bad to deal with. You can do a lot of damage to her pretty quick, especially with the Wander's Crest, because you can just jump with your controller, like BY, 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 BY. Just like kind of roll between, or just time it so you jump and then hit her pretty quickly. Okay, the interesting thing about her is that I'm pretty sure I heard somewhere that she couldn't be quite as difficult as Team Cherry wanted because of a challenge that you can do with her, which is what that picture is. It's called it's one of the endings you can get for the game, and essentially what you do is you have to go and beat her while you're cursed. And while you're cursed, you can't use any of your tools, any of your crests, and you can't heal. So you have to just show up as basic Hornet and beat her somehow without healing. That's where she actually gets tough. Just normal her, I would say normal her would be like low B tier, but Twisted Child, the ending where you're cursed, I would say that brings it up to a low A tier, honestly. And since that's the picture, I'm going to go with, okay, Twisted Child. Yeah, her by herself is probably a low C tier. She's really not that bad. And here we go. Final boss of the game, Lost Lace. And S tier, easily S tier. I mean, this boss is a pain. I saw this boss for the first time on YouTube. I was just looking at stuff and I saw it and I was like, oh no. This boss has the potential to be like top hardest bosses of all time. It's like, what am I doing with this? It's terrifying. Yeah, then I worked my way up to beat her, to actually fight her, and it was like, oh my gosh. She kills you so fast, and it's like, oh my goodness, what is happening? Once you learn her, she's not too bad, but also there's just so much going on towards her later phases, and she has 4 phases. So you have to survive through all that while there's just chaos, complete chaos is just raining down on you. You have to somehow find opportunities to heal without getting sniped by her lasers, and actually hit her to build up your silk so you can heal. There's just so much going on in this fight. It's like, what is even happening? And double damage, sometimes triple damage. Man, this is Silksong at its finest, though. The music for this fight is amazing. The area is really cool looking. And then you just feel so great once you beat it. It's entirely worth beating Act 3 just for this fight. Plus the music leading up to it, the cutscenes, the dialogue, it's all phenomenal. Team Cherry did such a good job at this fight. Yeah, man. All right. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for today, everyone. This is the Shadowcast Ultimate Defined Tier List for Hollow Knight Silksong bosses in order of difficulty. So yeah, please like and subscribe, share the video with your friends, and keep an eye out for more stuff. This is the Shadowcast Podcast, and I am Luke, and see you next time.